Hey guys, it's Dave. Welcome to session 2. This is going to be a virtual session, so please thoroughly watch this video. It's a rather simple yet incredibly difficult exercise that we're going to be going through here over the next few days. My goal would be to have you guys done and completed with this before we get together for our next live session. And what we're going to be talking about today is our 3-year outlook. You know, a lot of business plans include a vision component to it, and this one surely will as well. Now, the differentiator is that I am personally just not a huge fan of vision boarding, right? Because on a vision board, we sort of cut out and memorialize all these like big, amazing things that we want in life. And, you know, we cut things out of magazines and we post them on a poster board and we put them up on the wall. And then we just look at it. Right? What a vision board lacks is a tactical plan on how to execute from today moving forward in order to achieve that. And the other sort of fault with that type of vision plan, which extends outwards to, 7, 10, 15, 20 years, is that the truth of the matter is, for anybody that's ever been in an incredible growth cycle, if you're successful at the growth, as you march toward that vision, the vision gets continually reinvented, right? There are things that I've been able to achieve today that rewind 20 years ago when I set out on this journey, I would have never even thought possible, right? So I don't put as much value on a 10-year vision plan as I do on what I like to call the 3-year outlook. Now, what I want you guys to do is put your hand out in front of you, directly out in front of you. Now, right at the tip of your finger, right here at the tip of the finger, I consider that to be your 1-year outlook, right? It's very attainable. It's almost at your fingertips. All you have to do is a couple of things to inch yourself forward, and then you're going to touch that 1-year plan, right? So your 3-year plan is definitely outside of that field of vision, but it's kind of like at the wall in front of you, or the window in front of you. So it's not quite where you can get with small little nudges. It's going to take you getting up and having some activity and moving things around in order to achieve it. However, it is still very much in your line of sight. So this is not a wishy-washy plan when we're dealing with a 3-year outlook. It's an incredibly ambitious plan. However, it's rooted in an incredible sense of reality and authenticity, right? Which means it's not right at our fingertips. So it's going to take it's going to take more than a few months to get there. But we can reasonably expect that if we implement the plan of action and plan of growth, that we will be able to achieve this in about 3 years. So that's where we're going to be focusing on here today. I like to call it the 3-year outlook. And what's important to understand again is that this is not a vision board exercise. This is a very clear picture of what your life and business will look like in 3 years. So the goal should be big enough to emotionally move you, however reasonable enough to passionately pursue, right? I mean, that at the end of the day, if it seems like it's pie in the sky, our brain will interpret it that way, which means we won't do all the necessary steps in order to achieve it, right? So some of the immediate things I want you to think of that you're going to start this 3-year plan is to pick a future date, memorialize it, right? So July 1st, 2026, or maybe you like to do it at the end of the year, where it's December 31st, 2026, in which case you're giving yourself a little bit more than 3 years. There's really no right or wrong, right? But we want it to be around that 3-year that 3-year time frame. You want to clearly establish the team's unit and volume goal, right? So what I would do is make sure those two numbers coincide with each other, right? Sometimes I've seen real estate agents set unit goals that are completely inconsistent with the volume goal that they set forth because it's completely outside of the range of their average sales price. So what I would do, if you have the data to look at, is I would do a look back and say, okay, my average sales price has been in the 550,000 range. Well, if I want to do 25 units or 35 units in that year, then just do the simple math and you'll come out with the total gross volume goal that they need to match. Now, the exception to this would be if you were transitioning markets, right? If right now you are working with a first-time home buyer, $400,000 to $500,000 price point, but your intention over this 3 years was to mature your business in such a way where you're dealing with $1 million homes, right, as a starting point. Whole different set of marketing strategies and gaps you would have to fill in order to get there, but it is possible to change your market, right? A lot of people do this when they relocate and move out of state somewhere else. They're forced to do that because of a geography standpoint, right? So that would be the one exception where the units and volume goals do not share commonality with the metrics that you have currently in your business. Then also you want to calculate what the gross commission earned is. The reason why I say not the net commission earned is because ideally as your growth of your business pursues, you're going to be able to renegotiate that split with your broker, ideally, right? Or who knows, maybe you're going to go independent and you'll negotiate that with yourself one day. But the bottom line is we only want to talk about gross commissions received, right? So again, if you have the data, look back, apply that same purchase price to an average of the commissions earned, whether that be 2.5% or 2%, and then extrapolate that out based on the unit and volume goal that you intend to reach within that 3-year period, and then take away any. Again, you don't have to take away any splits from your broker. That would be a net commission to you. We're only talking gross commission, so just based on what you get paid as a whole. And then obviously that money is distributed appropriately after. But the gross commission is the best. It's the best sort of key performance indicator to look at because there's less variables, right? Okay. Also, what does the team structure look like? Meaning, are you still sort of a solopreneur? Have you taken the leap and gotten a virtual assistant or a full-time assistant or even a part-time assistant? Have you brought on additional agents to support your team, whether it be in the buyer's agent capacity or any other capacity, right? So you want to be able to see the design of your business. And by the way, if in your mind it's still you selling real estate, there's nothing wrong with that. So just memorialize that by writing it down. And then, of course, our most important asset, right? How many hours per week are you willing to give to the real estate industry? Otherwise, you're time defender. Okay, and any other measurables you want to put in there. I mean, I wanted to leave some autonomy for you to be able to measure things that are important to you. Maybe your philanthropy, maybe your faith, maybe a give back opportunity that you're trying to do. I don't know. I mean, you get to be the architect of whatever you want that to be. But this really resonates with me. This is a quote that Joel A. Barker said. He said, "Vision without action is merely a dream. Action without vision just passes the time. Vision with action can change the world." And that's exactly why we're going through this exercise, to take what I know is passionate vision from all of you and memorialize it into a tactical plan of action, right? That is what we are doing here. So then after you've well defined the metrics that we just went over, then you're going to create a narrative. Now, if you're like me, you're not a writer as far as prose, right? You're not going to write a storyline. If you like that, then go for it. But I like to, again, make this more tactical. So what we're going to do here is a bullet point exercise where you're going to describe if you achieved all those goals of units and volume and gross commission and team structure and hours versus based on your time defender, what would your business and personal life look like? So what I'd love to get out of you guys is a minimum of 6 bullet points illustrating a narrative statement. So not just a word, right? A statement that shows a little bit of emotion behind it and paints the picture of what your day-to-day looks like. So let me give you an example. A narrative statement might be, "I have an amazing buyer's agent on my team, allowing me to focus on business development and marketing." Right? That's a great one. Or, "My database is producing leads weekly for my team as a result of automation and systems in place." That's another narrative statement, right? That's probably you couldn't say today. My time defender is biblical, allowing me no less than 15 hours a week to pursue interests outside of real estate. So that would be the example of a personal, a personal statement, a narrative statement. So what I'd like for you to do is, and by the way, there's no perfect math to this, but since this is a business exercise, I'd like to see at least 4 narrative statements as it pertains to your business, right? They should be consistent with the metrics that you establish first. And, for instance, if you are saying that you're going to close 150 units, you're not going to do that alone. So there needs to be a component of team structure that you're memorializing in this narrative statement. Make sense? So 4 narrative statements as it pertains to your business, and a minimum of 2 statements pertaining to your personal life, like that last example I gave you, right? Pursuing 15 hours a week to pursue interests outside of real estate. How amazing would that be, right? Maybe those interests are within your church. Maybe they're having to do with your children. There is no right or wrong answer. It's only what in your design of the business that we're going to be actively pursuing building, what is that going to mean from a personal standpoint? You can think about things like your personal financial standpoint and comfortability and security with that. You can think about your personal investments and what this kind of business growth has done with your accumulation of assets and potentially real estate or other investment mechanisms. I don't know. This is true. It could be pertaining to health and wellness, right? If you have a well-structured, organized business, you should have plenty of time to address your wellness. And that could mean, different things as far as your level of energy that you're able to live off of. And, really be a music maker when it comes to this. There's no such thing as a wrong answer at all. There is only, like I've said, the truth. And that's what you should be focused on. So I provided you a little bit of a structured look, a structured breakdown of this, right? Where you're going to put your business or team name, right? The reason I say that is maybe your goal is within 3 years to own your own brokerage and you have an official name of that brokerage. I don't know. Or maybe it's just you as a real estate agent, which would be fine as well. So you just put your name in there. Again, you're putting the date, the future date, not today's date, the future date. Whether that be 7/1/2026 or December 31st, 2026, you have some autonomy with that, but you want to memorialize the date, because if you don't, then it's not real. You're going to put in there your amount of closed units annually. You're going to put in there your total amount of annual volume. You are going to put in there your team structure. You're going to put in information in regards to your time defender. And then I left something open for whatever measurable you want to put in there. And then I left 8 bullet points available for you, a spot for you to put a narrative statement down there, which tells me as the reader and you as the author a little bit more than just words, right? I could close my eyes and I can sort of see you and feel you living that life that you're describing. And that's what this exercise is all about. It's just taking what we want and putting it down on paper and memorializing it in a way where it makes sense to you and it makes sense to others, potentially your teammates, right? What a great thing to share if 6 months from now you're hiring your first buyer's agent, to let them know where this organization is heading. Right? Instead of a conversation, being able to hand somebody a document. And that's exactly what this exercise is. Again, this is not the big, out of scope, hairy, audacious goal, right? Of retiring in a mansion in Malibu, right? I mean, it's very, very few people are going to be able to manifest that in 36 months. This is about a fundamental plan of action, right? But it should be enough. Again, these goals should be big enough to inspire emotion within you. They should be big enough to inspire a little bit of fear into this. It should be precursored with a lot of work. If you're just putting here in 3 years from now the level of expectation of what you're already doing right now, this exercise might not be right for you, and quite frankly, this business plan might not be right for you, because if you're already doing it, then just keep doing it, right? Again, we talked about in that commitment, when you guys sign the commitment letter, that you are knowing in advance that whatever happens here, you are going to have to take massive changes in your actions and habits. There is no other way to elicit growth, right? It is not going to happen by accident. And the one thing we know, again, for sure, the biggest common denominator we have in life is that if you do not do anything, then nothing will happen. So thank you guys so much. Good luck with this exercise. Yeah, reach out to your accountability partner, reach out to each other if you'd like, and get some support to do this. And I'll see you guys at our next live session. Thanks so much, you guys. Take care.